4. The environment for success. Last time, I explained how just use your willpower and just create healthy habits are a lie. This time, I want to deepen that conversation with 2 stories of 2 different identities. See if you can relate to anything either of them felt, did, or their health. In full transparency, both are real people, and neither of them are myself nor clients. You'll understand how creating an environment for lasting success leads to habits that guarantee you fat loss, lower blood pressure and glucose readings, and reverse most chronic conditions. Remember, sometimes it's too good to be true is also a lie. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. Jim Ryan. It's not that creating habits and using willpower are bad or unuseful advice, but it's not all you need for success. You need to understand your brain, body, hormones, and accurate age. By that, I mean exercises and nutrition based on your age and changing hormone levels. We're living longer than our species ever has, and we need to adjust our lifestyle according to what science learns about the brain and body as it ages. We live in a world where science and technology move faster than human evolution. Packaged, ultra-processed convenient foods. Marketing to keep us spending instead of saving for our future and investing in the lives of others, like donating to charitable causes with time or money. Smartphones. More streaming distractions than hours in the day. Prescription drugs to fix our sleep and lifestyle woes. Outdated nutritional advice, eat low carbs, combine foods, restrict XYZ, eat excess fat. Exercise research completed on college-aged boys. Would any of those exercises apply to any of us? Workouts you did at 30 will not work when you're 60. In Ayurveda, older age brings about an increase in fat, a kapha quality, which in modern science equals possible estrogen excess or insulin resistance. Our older years are also a time of reflection, play, curiosity, and memory. Our nutrition and movement must adjust to this. You don't have to eliminate food groups, but portions need to adjust so you get enough protein and nutrients for optimal health. There are 2 stories to show the impact of who you are being. Your identity shapes your beliefs, which shapes your skills, habits, or behaviors, and your environment. Both characters have similar traits regarding backgrounds and talents. How they perceived and reacted to their upbringings made all the difference. Their beliefs about who they were and what they could accomplish changed the direction of their lives. Your past story is not your future. Stop allowing it to be. We start with a wilted sprout named Dorothy, born in 1953. Her mother died of lung cancer when Dorothy was 11, and her alcoholic father died of stomach cancer when she was 13. Her father had remarried a bartender with a young son in the 2 years before he passed. Neither Dorothy nor her older sister were close to her nor her son. Dorothy's father arranged for the girls being raised by his siblings when he found out he was terminal. Dorothy's sister went to his brother and sister-in-law. Dorothy went to his sister and brother-in-law's home. His siblings raised his daughters in completely different environments. Dorothy lived in a home where she was clearly unwanted and a family burden. Think Cinderella. So she rebelled, smoking pot, drinking, and hanging out with friends her aunt didn't like. She had multiple relationships with men, never satisfied with the ones who provided support. She broke off the engagement to the only man her aunt liked, who would have a future. In January 1974, she became pregnant and married a man she met while in high school. When their daughter hit preschool age, Dorothy started a small daycare center in their home. With both of them working, things were good for a few years, but that didn't align with her identity or the story of her life. Dorothy stopped working, and her husband was convicted for stealing copper from his job, a criminal charge guaranteeing lower-paying jobs. They lost their house and moved in with his mother temporarily. Soon after, the relationship turned physically and verbally abusive. Both began drinking excessively. Here's how that story played out for Dorothy, our wilted sprout. Environment: abusive, toxic relationship where two addicts could no longer afford their home. Kitchen stocked with vegetables, grains, dairy, meat and meat byproducts, diet soda, beer, and schnapps. Their bedroom hid other bottles of alcohol from the family. By her 40s, Dorothy was on a minimum of 10 medications, including 2 types of morphine. Hospice and home health aides were a normal routine, as were regular doctor's visits. Barely able to clean her 1-bedroom apartment, so her boyfriend handles it after work, school, and errands. Behaviors, habits: passive-aggressive, abuser, sneaks alcohol, watches TV all day, talk shows like Jerry Springer, soap operas like Young and the Restless, As the World Turns, and Guiding Light. She makes dinner for her husband before he and her mother-in-law arrive home from work at 5. Returns to TV after cleaning up dinner dishes with her daughter. Rarely leaves the house. Daughter does most of the housework, though Dorothy doesn't work. This is the story she learned from her aunt and uncle. Children are Cinderella. Skills: training as a teacher, used for home daycare center she ran 10 years prior. Decent cook, singer, poet, acoustic guitar player. No work skills, quote unquote, since stay-at-home moms were normal before the mid-'80s. Beliefs: this is how life is. I'll never be able to work. Abuse equals love, since my aunt verbally abused me. Identity: abused housewife with a martyr complex, sick person. Source: believes in God, makes daughter go to church, though she doesn't go to herself. Dorothy became severely ill and depressed by age 35, unable to work. She tried working at Zehrs Ames a couple of years later, but retired permanently because of her illnesses. She remained on welfare and government assistance programs the rest of her life, bouncing between abusive boyfriends and her abusive husband, whom she never divorced. At 49, she passed from multiple mental and physical health issues. The stories and beliefs she created about who she was and what she could do created her behaviors. Those behaviors were the habits that further solidified her reality and identity. She lived by her circumstances rather than possibility. The measure of who we are is what we do with what we have. Vince Lombardi. Simply changing her thoughts about who she was would have saved her life. Here's how. Her counterpart, a 53-year-old lively gardener, born in 1969, was also raised in a tough-love household, where he was repeatedly told to get a real job and stop playing music and drawing. Play sports. That's a profession you're good at, and it's stable. Note the difference in his identity and beliefs. He knows he has the skills to change habits. Environment. Loving, fulfilling relationship. Quiet, well-groomed apartment or house, decorated with self-created art and musical instruments. Plant-based kitchen, stocked with fresh and frozen vegetables, multiple grains, beans, and fruits. Drinks only water or coffee. Sees a dermatologist and PCP every 6 months for minor conditions he's reversing through diet and exercise. Takes 1 medication for a common skin condition. Takes 4 supplements: vitamin D, vitamin C, melatonin, and magnesium. Behavior. Confident, passionate, obsessive focus. Does not drink or take any hard drugs or pills. Watches a movie each night, sometimes watches them during the day with the sound off while listening to music. Often reads the liner notes on albums or books on movies or stoicism. Falls asleep around 9 at the latest. Skills. Lots. In the mid-'80s, the previous family work model broke. Gen X often held multiple jobs, no longer seeing a reason to stay in a job forever. Our lively gardener is a musician-artist who worked in studio music production, live bands, music stores, and video production. He also worked in car detailing, landscaping, created miniature models for court cases and exhibits for conventions, graphic art layout, and worked as a designer for the North Shore News Group, coffee shops, health food eateries, and as a well-paid professional artist. Beliefs. I can cure my health conditions. I know what to eat and the importance of exercise. I sleep regularly, and if I slip into a depressive state, I lift my mood by creating music or painting. I'm healthier as I age. I'm comfortable not fitting in. I'm confident in who I am. I achieve any and everything I set my mind to. I'm grateful for my spouse and kids. I have good genes, so I can easily live into my 90s if I take care of myself. I raised myself as a latchkey kid, so I've always been independent. We had to do everything ourselves. Identity. I am a healthy 53-year-old passionate Italian who enjoys the brief life we're given. Source. Non-religious, agnostic, or stoic in philosophy. See the difference your identity creates? So what identity are you living into each day? Which identity creates your beliefs, skills, behaviors, and environment? Let's give a common example I encounter regularly. If you're type 2 diabetic, you probably believe it's because your parents had it. You may also believe the hype you hear about diet and exercise for diabetics. You may believe you're destined to be on medication or insulin. These are beliefs. You may not make the time to research the other side of the diabetic condition, which advises you fruits and carbs aren't the issue, but fat and animal protein actually are. You won't make time to gain skills for cooking or research because everywhere you look, the same story persists. Watch carbs and sugars. These are skills. You probably have the same behaviors or habits your family had because that's where most of our stories originate. I was raised on meat and potatoes, and bacon makes everything better. These are behaviors and habits. Your environment will reflect all of this in whatever way your story plays out. For many, it's having low-carb veggies in the house, focusing on clean protein, and substituting sugar with toxic fake sweeteners. You may not have basic weights for lifting, bands for stretching, or good shoes for walking. This is your environment. I'm here to help you create an environment for lasting success, with habits guaranteed to help you lose fat, lower blood pressure and glucose, and reverse most chronic diseases. I've attached a handout that sets up your kitchen for success. This is how a lively gardener shops for food and stocks their fridge, freezer, and pantry. This is called Cabinet Space Clearing Project. And by the way, I don't subscribe to the rule of shop in the outer ring of the store for weight loss. It's more outdated information that's only half the picture. A lot of the foods on the outer ring are toxic, and some of the foods on the inner rings are healthy. The handout explains what to shop for and where it is in the store. Next, I'll discuss what I call high-level eating, which digs deeper into one of my best skills, cooking plants of all kinds. This is how you ignore trends and look at the real benefits of plants for yourself and the planet. Remember, I want you to collaborate with me. Who are you? Who do you want to be in life if anything was possible? Let's end the cycle of limited potential. As Emily Dickinson said, anything is possible. Stay tuned. Yours in health, Alicia.